What's going on, everybody? I got another Ranger talk here for y'all. It's been a little while, but I have a very, very special and very mighty guest here for y'all today. It is none other than the prolific, the multi-talented, the incredibly worldwide known Bill Hudson of NorthTale here to chat with me. Bill, what's up, man? Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for giving me space to talk, and thanks for the introduction. I'm gonna start demanding that people introduce me that way for interviews
I'll,
now. That's cool.
I'll be your hype man. Just
Yeah,
get me
very cool.
to introduce you anytime you enter the stage, and I'll be there. So
Yeah, you're very good at that. Thanks for having me, man.
no, the pleasure is all mine. So yes, Bill Hudson of NorthTale and many other endeavors. This man gets around. He plays a lot. He travels a lot. He explores a lot. He conquers a lot. So
It's true.
yes. So Bill, thank you. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for making a video to announce my number one favorite album of 2022. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah, it was an interesting band name and song and album title. I love that.
I know, I know.
Yeah,
Bands now they're telling me that they need to change their name to their band name plus tail and add
yeah,
some kind of enduring flame to their album title so they can be my number one.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's well, I mean, I guess we've reached a time where there's not that many options for names. People will end up sounding the same. There's enough band with dragon on their names and hammer.
Fair enough. All right. So first and foremost, I just want to get to know you a little better. I want my viewers to get to know you a little better. So, how did you first really get into metal? When did you know that you wanted to play guitar? And how did that lead you into the metal genre in general?
Well, that sort of all started at the same time. I discovered Guns N' Roses when like 93 or something, 93, 94. And they had this music video out, which I mean at the time wasn't so commonplace as it is right now. You just go on YouTube, but at the time, you'd see music videos on like MTV or in my case in Brazil, it wasn't even MTV yet. It was I don't remember. There was some music video TV show, but anyway, it was November Rain, and he's soloing in front of the church, and I'm like, man, that's what I want to do with my life. And I got my parents to buy me that record, and then I got my parents to buy me a VHS of also Guns N' Roses live in Japan around that same time. And that was life changing for me. I remember watching that video and being like, oh, wow, okay, so these people actually make a living playing music and doing this, and I want to do that. So that's really when it started. Now, metal, specifically the heavy metal genre, and going into power metal or whatever, that came a little bit later. I discovered Iron Maiden because,
Mhm.
being born and raised in Brazil, Iron Maiden is huge there. And I mean, when I
Really?
say huge, yeah, when I say huge, it's like people don't really understand how, like, they've been filling up stadiums since '85. Every time Maiden plays in São Paulo, it's like 60,000 people.
Oh,
Um, well, it's very hard to conceive for people that don't live in Brazil how big they are there in all phases too. Because I know, like, when Blaze Bayley was in the band here in America, they were playing like Harpos in Detroit, and but in Brazil they were playing stadiums just the same.
oh.
And so it was very normal. Every metalhead in Brazil likes Iron Maiden, so that's how I got into it. Um, first couple things I learned how to play on guitar were all Iron Maiden, you know, like it was, and
Wow,
yeah, man,
that's quite the extreme to start when you start playing guitar to start playing Iron Maiden.
yeah, I learned the opening lick for Wasting Love. That was the first thing I ever learned ever on guitar. And it, there was something else, like the opening riff of the Number of the Beast. Those are
Yeah.
like some of my very basic foundation riffs on guitar. Wasted Years, the open string riff. Um, and then, I mean, Maiden was still is my favorite band, of course. I mean, that's never changed. But you know, in being in Brazil in the early 90s, there was a very big, and I mean, it's hard to explain how big this campaign was, but there was a very big campaign in Brazil to make Angra big down there. They were managed by the only metal magazine in the country, and all of the media people were all their friends, you know, like so there was this huge campaign, and Angra was like humongously big in Brazil in the early 90s. And I
Yeah.
mean mainstream big. Like they couldn't get out and take a
On
walk
the
in the street
radio.
or go to the store. On the radio. Yeah, that was the next thing I was gonna say. One day I was at a literally at a theme park. I was like, how I was probably 11 years old or something,
Mhm.
and they were playing Angra's Carry On. And I had no idea what the fuck that was, but I still remember the chorus, and I remember, wow, man, that was killer. What was that? You know? And for months, I kept trying to figure out what the song was. Never heard it again. One day, again, with my parents just in the mall. Again, I was a little kid. That song starts playing again. I'm like, oh wait, that was the song. But it was the radio, so they said the name right after. And I was like, Angra, what the fuck? You know, I mean, this is 94. That's how
Jeez.
big and how mainstream it was.
I can't
And
even
because
imagine Angra being played on the radio, like at the
oh
mall.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mind
No,
blowing to me.
in Brazil to this day, right now, they still have celebrity status. If they play in São Paulo, they'll get 4,000 people. But it's just in Brazil, and it's very hard to explain this to people because people in Brazil don't understand that it's not like that all over the world. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm constantly talking to my friends and being like, you do realize that people in Finland don't know who Angra is, right? No, of course they do. Of course, everybody knows who Angra is. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like they're as big as Rihanna, or like they
Oh,
are they are mainstream big in Brazil.
that's
And
incredible.
but the thing is, I was like a little kid around the time where all this marketing was being made. So one part of the strategy of this magazine was they were going to put out Angra, and they have a record label where they licensed every other power metal in the world to create that market. So, like at that time, we were getting Gamma Ray, we were getting Stradivarius, we were
Oh,
getting, and I mean, dude, this is like 96. This is before Rhapsody existed. This is before Hammerfall existed. Uh, and so around this time, in like here I'm talking 96, 97, every metalhead in Brazil was into power metal. And I mean everyone. At that time, Stradivarius would come down and do like 7 shows and get 5,000 people at every one of them.
jeez.
I saw Halloween on the Dark Ride tour. I think it was 9,000 people. At the time, I mean, power metal was just as big as any genre of metal in South America. So those were, uh, around my formative years, the 14, 15, 16 years old. This is what I was listening to at the time. You know, it was Halloween, Gamma Ray, Angra, Stradivarius, Blind Guardian was a big one. But to me, I only like Blind Guardian from that time. Like I like Time What Is Time. I don't listen to the more recent stuff. Um, So, and it's dude, it's the same with a lot of bands. Like I love the two first Hammerfall albums, and then I
Yeah.
won't listen to anything past that. Rhapsody, I like the first two albums, and then I don't care about it after that.
Wow.
Different than Stradivarius though. Stradivarius, I like everything up to when Tolkien quit. I don't listen to
Nothing
anything from the
after.
past. No, it's not even the same band.
Wow.
To me, it's
Okay.
not even the same band. I mean, it's not. It is what it is, and like Tolkien was the heart and soul
You
of the
don't like
band, and it was.
Polaris.
I never even heard it, but 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 Visions is my favorite album of all times.
Really?
So
It is awesome. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, either Visions or Episode, but
Okay.
because those were the albums that were out at that time.
Yeah.
I saw Stradivarius live. I was 14. I saw Gamma Ray live. I was 13. And
Jeez.
again, these were huge shows. Like right now they'll pull 300 people if they're lucky. At the time I saw Gamma Ray. Gamma Ray I think was 5,000. No, Gamma Ray was 3,000. Stradivarius was 5,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, man, it was pretty insane. So yeah, that's my story as a fan. Of course, as a professional musician, my life took a completely different turn, but that's kind of how I got into metal and power metal and stuff like that.
Wow. So you had a very privileged childhood, if I must say, because I did not hear that
Yeah.
stuff when I was a young kid in the United States of America on the radio. There was
And
no.
what's funny too? The other, because I'm here sitting in Vegas right now. I'm working with a bunch of American metal musicians,
Yeah.
guys that are on the opposite end of power metal.
Yeah.
I have a member of Machine Head, Logan Mader,
Okay.
Tommy Vext, which is the former singer for Bad Wolves, and Mark Rizzo from Soulfly. Now, Mark Rizzo knows some power metal. The other two guys do not know any of it, and it's funny because like they talk about metal. When they talk about metal, they're talking about Slipknot. They're
Yeah.
talking about Korn, and being in Brazil, like around that time, you talk
Yeah.
about being privileged around that time, 98, 99. If you wanted to be different, you'd say, oh no, I like Slipknot. You know what I mean? So I had a phase there before I moved to the US where yeah, all this power metal stuff. Everybody likes Zanger, everybody likes Halloween. So now I'm gonna listen to Korn and Slipknot, which in Brazil was the outcast metal.
Wow.
It really was. It really. I mean, nowadays it's not. Nowadays in Brazil, pretty much the bands that are big here are big there, and
Yeah.
even power metal, it's not that huge
Not so
anymore.
much.
Yeah, but back in those times, man, yeah, I was privileged. I saw Halloween in '96, opening for Maiden. It was,
Jeez.
yeah, man. It was a good time, and honestly, like despite my career having gone a different direction and me playing some heavier styles of music, when I started NorthTale, I wanted to bring that feeling back, from that time. I'm like, this is the album I wanted to release back then, but I didn't have a good enough band, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, when I was a kid, it was like we had what, 3 Days Grace, we had
Ugh,
Godsmack, we had, like, I've listened to Soulfly, stuff like that. And power
yeah,
metal, it was nowhere. There was no power metal on the radio. It was all just this kind of quote unquote modern heavy metal, like you said, Slipknot, Korn,
yeah.
Disturbed, stuff like that. That's all that
Yeah,
was.
here in the US, when you say metal, that's what people think is bands like that. That's what their standard for metal is. And I've learned as a Brazilian living in America, I've learned to deal with that. But I remember moving here and people are like, yeah, man, I like metal, like Killswitch Engage. And I'm like, wait, who?
Yeah.
And then like they show it to me, I'm like, oh, they're kind of like Corn. Oh no, 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 no,
No.
no. This is not, this is Corn is new metal. This is metalcore. Oh, that's different. Okay. You
You're like,
know,
no, that's
it,
kind of
it,
like that's like rock with like a heavier edge, I guess.
yeah.
But that's like
I'm
not
like,
metal.
I'm like, no, this that you're showing me and calling metalcore is what I imagine the kids that don't think corn is cool play. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is not cool. This is how cool we are. So instead of playing the open string 4 times, we play the open string 8 times. Dun, ka, dun, ka, da, da, dun. I mean, it took me a while, but I learned to understand what Americans mean as metal versus what I mean as metal, you know.
Yeah. Oh
But
man.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was all that, man. I didn't get into the more extreme shit until I moved to America.
Yeah. Well, I envy you first and foremost as a power metal fan. Oh, I wish I was raised on power metal. Simple as that.
Yeah, yeah, but then I'm very elitist with the newer shit. You know, I hate all the newer shit that's been
Right.
coming out.
You're one of those people. It's like, oh, they don't make it like they used to.
Dude, when it comes to power metal specifically, absolutely. Whatever so that's power metal right now is a crime to me.
Except
You know, and
NorthTale.
except for NorthTale. That's why I
There you
started
go.
NorthTale. I was like, this is power metal. You know,
That's awesome, man.
so. But yeah, I mean, it's been cool, you know. We got to tour, we got to Japan, we got to Sweden. It's been cool. But yeah, that's totally like my childhood gatekeeping elitist self coming to life at age 40.
Dude, incredible. Incredible. You're a lucky guy. And I know I don't speak for just myself. There's a lot of folks that I'm sure are like, wow, Bill
Yeah.
is a lucky fella. I wish we were all raised on the same music that he was. When I was a kid, I was listening to Eiffel 65 and Blue, you know, that Blue song. And
Mhm.
I'm blue, da ba dee da ba die, da ba dee da ba die.
Oh yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
so now you're a man. Before we get into NorthTale specifically, one more thing I want to ask you is you're a man of many talents. You're in a lot of bands, studio wise, travel wise, all of that. You know, you play what do you play? You play black metal, you play death metal, you play heavy metal, you've been playing for Doro. What all do you play?
Yeah, yeah. I actually never played black metal,
No.
but I know I'm in a death metal band. I guess the death metal band, which is I Am Morbid, which is David Vincent and Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel.
Mhm.
They left Morbid Angel and started this band. But we play Morbid Angel music, so it is death metal very much. Um, Here, I'm not even sure what to call this. It's like, but this it's this band that used to be called Divine Heresy, uh, with Dino Cazares from Fear Factory. It's
Oh
very
wow.
much American metal, you know. But Dino is not in the band. I'm actually in his place.
Oh, okay.
But everyone else is, you know. It's this here is what I consider kind of good American metal. It's very breakdowny, it's very hardcore in the riffs and all that, but it's still very technical, very good vocals, amazing vocalist Tommy Vext, you know. So what else? Then yeah, Doro, more traditional metal, and I also played with Udo Dirk Schneider from Accept, which is kind
Oh
of the same kind of music. I was
wow,
in
yeah.
Udo's band for about 2 years. That I came to the US with. I did the Dirk Schneider US and Canada tour in 2018.
Wow.
And but yeah, I mean that's why I say my career went in a different direction because I've never actually played any real power, what I consider power metal until NorthTale, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, I did have a stint with Sabotage. I did the reunion show in 2015 and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and some will call that
Mhm.
US power metal or whatever, but it's still not the European power metal I wanted to play, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done a lot of things, but yeah, different styles, none of them being the power metal I wanted to do as a kid.
So how do you keep track of all of that? I mean, you play in so many different styles, so many different bands.
Yeah,
How do you learn all of that? I even saw when they were doing the was it 10,000 tons of metal cruise, you
70,000.
were saying, oh, anyway, you need a guitarist at the last minute. It's like how, how do you learn this stuff so quick and how do you keep it all in your head?
That's kind of my superpower. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like when I was a kid, I really wanted to grow up and be like a shredder and have a instrumental records and be on guitar magazines, and that never ended up happening. But what did, because like I don't think that I do anything special in that department, but what I did develop is that ability to learn music quickly and at performance level, and be able to like recall it quickly. I honestly, and the reason I call it a superpower is because I work with a lot of musicians and none of them seem to understand that. Because to me, it's simple. It's like I learned the song, now I know it, you know.
Wow.
So but it's not. It doesn't seem to come that easy to other people. So that's why I'm like, I think that that's what I have on other guitar players. I uh I can I can I can go from I do that a lot, like I'll play a show with I Am Orbit, hop on
Mhm.
a plane and go play with Doro the next day, and there's no difficulty in recalling anything. I don't know. That might be my superpower.
Wow.
I learn music very fast. I think part of it is the fact that I'm very much like I'm a music theorist in a way. I'm a nerd. So like a lot of the time I'm sitting around and I'm thinking of music concepts and trying to make see in my head what they would sound like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like, all right, I'll take a dominant chord. So if I resolve to the root, this is what would sound like. Okay, what if I wanted to change keys and then resolve a half step up? So I keep trying to figure out what it sounds like in my head. So most music, when I listen, I kind of already know what it is, you know.
Wow.
Like when it's more complex metal stuff like this here, I have to spend some time practicing the physical part. Like there's some crazy picking patterns here.
Mhm.
So I'll sit with a metronome and master that pattern. But the notes and everything, the first time I hear the song, I get, like I don't know, I don't know why. I don't know how, but it comes very easy.
Your mind just works that way. When you hear it, it's
Yeah.
just like a snap of a
And,
fingers, and there you
and
go.
it was never planned. I never in my life I wanted to be a guitar player, a professional guitar player, musician, but I never imagined that I would be good at this.
Yeah.
I always thought I'd be like a Steve Vai or Yngwie Malmsteen kind of guy, and
Yeah.
now I'm basically the opposite. I'm the guy that shows up to solve problems.
I was just gonna ask you, like, if you're ever gonna release an album like Steve Vai or Buckethead or something like that. Have you ever thought about an instrumental guitar album?
I've been telling people I'm gonna do it since I was 13. No joke. I literally, I spent my entire adult life, or my entire teenage years, still telling people I would do it, but I never was able to do anything that I thought was good enough. So Shape Your Reality and If Angels Are Real, which were the first two NorthTale songs I wrote, they came from that idea, from writing a solo album, from writing, and the idea was I was gonna rip off Ingve and I was gonna have two vocal songs and eight instrumentals,
Yeah.
like Rising Force. So I wrote the two vocal songs. I'm like, oh, these are pretty good, maybe and I was looking for a singer for a while, so that was my excuse. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll write the instrumentals once I find a singer.
Yeah.
And I finally found a singer when Christian left Twilight Force,
Yeah.
and and I was like, hey, you want to sing on my solo record? And he sang the two songs, and I was like, oh damn, man, this guy is good. Maybe you should start a band. So it ended up turning into Northdale.
Wow.
And so anytime I try, something happens. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That
But
supports your
really,
solo effort. Yeah.
yeah, man, really, I mean, I like instrumental guitar players. I like some of them, not all of them. But I just feel that every time I try to do something like that, it sounds boring. It sounds like someone's done it before. So I kind of did what I'm good, and that's why I stuck to power metal or learning other people's music. Well, now we're in the era of singles, so maybe I'll do a single someday. About 10 years ago, I did one and I posted on YouTube,
Yeah.
but it wasn't, yeah, yeah, it's called Ego. It's still out there, but
Okay.
I don't think it's that good. Like right now I listen, I'm like, but I know people who love that song. That's why I keep it there. But I personally don't think it's that good anymore. So I don't
Well,
know. I
folks,
spent a
check
lot
that
of,
out.
yeah,
Bill Hudson
yeah,
with the song Ego. But don't have
yes,
high expectations apparently, because he says it's not
yeah.
good. But I bet you it's awesome.
It's not. It needs a better like middle solo. Maybe I should redo that song one day. But
Ego
it's pretty good.
remastered.
The Ego
Basically.
Remastered, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, man.
my next question was going to ask you how NorthTale came to be, but you already kind of said it was from your solo efforts, and you got a vocalist, and then NorthTale was born, right?
That's the short of it. Yeah, but it's a much longer story. So it is like I said here at the beginning. Of course, I'm sticking to power metal because your name being the power metal ranger. Like I said here at the beginning, I grew up listening to those bands, and so moving to America and having a career as a guitarist worked, you know what I mean? But I mean, my first band was an American band that tried to be a power metal band that was called Celador. And we put out our first album on Metal Blade Records. We did some touring,
Wow.
but the truth is that we were all, yeah, man, actually, as a power metal ranger, you should check that out. It's called Enter Deception.
I need to.
Uh,
You got to
c-
send me the link, and I'll include it down below in the description,
yeah.
folks. I'm going to include it. What,
There
Celador?
was a lot of hype at the time. We were supposed to be like the American answer to Dragon Force, basically.
Really?
And
Wow. Okay.
yeah, that's what Metal Blade had in their minds.
Yeah.
They got us on tour with some big bands. They got us on tour with Trivium, All That Remains. We went to Japan and played with Blind
Very
Guardian.
power metal bands, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know. But you know what, bro? I'm not gonna lie. Their plan was good. We weren't ready for it. We were stupid. Like we drank a lot. All of us were really big. Like we were drinking the label's money and burning bridges. We were like we were. Our ages went from 16 to 21, and I was the oldest one at 21. And I had a serious drinking problem. So we fucked up, but it was a good opportunity. It
Yeah.
really was. Like the idea of sending a power metal band out with Trivium might sound weird, yeah, but we gained a lot of fucking fans.
The
Like
exposure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it totally did work at the time. I thought it was about, but anyway, that we even went to Japan and we played Loud Park with Heaven and Hell and Blind Guardian. It
Wow.
was pretty, yeah, man. It was pretty sick. But I mean, we butchered that opportunity. But you should check. I'll send the link to you.
Dude, please
Anyway,
do, because I'm gonna do. I'm telling you now, folks. I'm gonna do a reaction to one of Celador's songs
yes.
very
Okay.
soon. Within the next few days after this post,
I'll give you
reaction
the
time, folks. It's happening.
I'll give you the music video because we actually have
Yes.
one. And
Yes.
so, but anyway, Celador was a good opportunity, and he was power metalish. But after that, I never did anything, that was even remotely similar to what I wanted to do musically, right? But in my head, we lived in a world of metalcore, of extreme metal, and there was really no point in doing power metal these days. That's honestly what I thought throughout all of the most of the 2000s, 2010s, I should say.
Yeah.
And so I want to say this is 2017. I was playing with Udo Dirk Schneider from
Mhm.
Accept, and we were doing a fuck ton of European festivals.
Mhm.
And one time we were playing rock hard in Germany, and I just came out to see bands, other bands or whatever, and I saw Bloodbound, which is a
Wow.
Swedish
Yeah.
power metal
Yeah.
band, yeah, that we just toured with. And I was like, damn, look at these guys, man. They're playing power metal and they're playing this big festival. So maybe there's a resurgence happening.
Yeah.
Then then we played another festival, and I went and I saw Twilight Force. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, that's another power metal band, you know. So I'm like, okay,
That's
maybe
as
there is
power
some
metal
power
as you
metal.
get. Twilight
Yeah.
Force, yeah,
So, and of course, Sabaton has been huge in Europe since like 2012. You
yeah,
know, I played their festival in 2013. So it's like I was like, all right, if I put a power metal band together now, the band I always wanted to do as a kid,
yeah,
at the very least it will get attention because I'm already in big bands. You know, I know everybody. I don't need to go through any bullshit to get to labels. I don't need to, all of the bullshit of the beginning of starting a band, I don't have to go through,
yeah.
because I already know everybody. So I'm gonna try. That's really how NorthTale came to be.
Wow.
Then then yeah, the songs, the story that I told you with the singer. And Christian had just left Twilight Force at that
Mhm.
time, so he wanted to start a band too. So we started the band. He got Patrick in, our drummer Patrick Johansson, who had played with Yngwie Malmsteen for like 15 years, but didn't have a band at the time. He brought our bass player Michael Planefeld in as well, who also from Sweden. So I was the only Brazilian guy in an all Swedish band. So finally we got our keyboard player Jimmy Pitts, who's American. And because I'm also American, I guess it was two Americans and three Swedes on
Yeah,
our first lineup. And the thing is, all of us had some sort of fan base. So we put it online. We're like, hey guys, we're starting a new band, blah blah blah. And everybody's like, oh, what's the name? And nobody knew. So we're like, why don't you tell us the name? So we did a contest and we had like 1,500 suggestions to figure out a name for our band. And out of those, we picked the best 100, then we picked the best 10, and we made a contest online, like vote for the last 10s. And yeah, and then people picked Northdale,
that's
and
amazing.
which really sounds correct because three at the time, three out of five people were in Sweden, you know. And
Yeah,
right now, still half of the band is Swedish, although the drummer lives here in America. But yeah, man, that's how it came to be. It was a project that I wanted to start since I was a kid. I became a professional musician. I made all my dreams come true, all my touring dreams, everything come true, but not my power metal band. So I'm like, now it's time to do that. So that's what it is. It's a very much a passion project. Like I said, I make I don't lie about it. Like getting signed was a lot easier for us than it would have been to another band. But we still had to write good music.
yeah, oh yeah. You have to keep the fan base, bring the
Of
interest.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise it'll just fizzle.
exactly. And we just that's basically the story, man.
That's awesome, man. So, as many folks watching, if you're followers of my channel, y'all know that North Tales Eternal Flame was my number one pick for best album of 2021, and it just really, really is phenomenal, and it has that kind of old school traditional feeling with a modern touch. And so I wanted to talk about that album a little bit and how the writing came about, because correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing that really sets that album apart for me is it feels like there's a lot of different influences into it. So
Right.
whereas a lot of bands, when it comes to songwriting, maybe there's one songwriter and everybody else just plays the instruments. But this album, it felt like there was a lot of input into the different songs because every song really kind of had its own feeling to it. So what's the process behind the band and the songwriting? Does everybody get input, or is there actually just one songwriter, or how's that work?
So on this album, I did all of the writing. So
Really?
I really do appreciate that because
Dude,
as far as the writing go, there's very little input from the other people.
dude, it's so
Um,
varied.
Well,
Wow.
I appreciate that, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean every song in this album was very well thought out. Here's the thing, man. The first album was a lot quicker and easier to do because half of it was demos. It was stuff that I already had that I just got remixed.
Yeah.
The new album though, the new Eternal Flame though, first of all, we worked with a real producer with Dennis Ward, who's known for his work on some of the best Angra albums, and also he's the bass player songwriter of Pink Cream 69, and or former, he's not in the band anymore. But also Unisonic and Plaza, everything that
Wow.
Michael Kiske did
Yeah.
when he was not in Halloween, he was with this guy. So he knew
Wow.
very well the kind of music we're going for, and he helped me bring all that to life. But a lot of it was me, like it's for example, I wanted to bring the Brazilian influences in Land of Mystic Rites.
Oh,
I
that's my
wanted,
favorite, man. Oh,
oh,
that
that's
song is
cool, man.
incredible. The anger influences in that song, the old school anger influences, the Andre Matos era. Holy Land
Well,
is my favorite anger. I mean, that's just one of my favorite power metal albums of all time. And Land of Mystic Rites, when I first listened to the album, I was like, oh, this is just too good, too good.
that's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome to hear because it was frankly, it was an experiment. I'm glad that you recognize the Holy Land influence because most people don't, you know.
Really.
I
I
mean,
mean,
people
it's
in Brazil do. People in Brazil do, but people from overseas, like I've never heard anyone say that in English.
dude, it's
Yeah,
it warmed my power metal heart when I heard that song, and I was like, oh, Holy
uh,
Land, yes, this oh,
yes.
this just is amazing.
Every song on Eternal Flame is kind of that, it's kind of like me trying to write a type of song that would fit a certain album.
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. That's kind of the Angra song. Then the first one, the opening track, Only Human,
Mhm.
that's total Stradivarius to me, like because it's all keyboard and guitar duets.
Yeah.
And there's In the Name of God, which I wanted to do like a different song, a little bit darker. Nature's Revenge is me trying to rewrite Visions by Stradivarius.
That was glorious. Yeah. How about Midnight
Um,
Bells?
Midnight Bells is what they call the Judas Priest song. It
Okay.
was it's it that was that Midnight Bells is the Judas Priest and Slayer because it's got the Slayer part in the middle. So
Awesome.
so yeah, but yeah, that was totally that's the Midnight Bells is like Painkiller. It's me
Yeah.
trying to think
Oh,
Painkiller. So
dude.
yeah, each one of the songs had this one song I had in mind.
Yeah.
And another thing too about Celador is on this album, there's two songs that I wrote for Celador initially for
Mhm.
what would have been our second album. The songs are King of Your Illusion,
Mhm.
which actually still has the same lyrics. I even gave credit to the singer. And the other one is Ride the Storm. That changed lyrics and changed a lot more. And then on our first album, there's Follow Me, that was also Celador. We actually played that one at Prague Power in 2007 or something.
Wow.
So
Celador was
yeah,
at
man.
Prague Power?
Yeah, 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. Here's a thing you might not know. I am the single musician with the most Prague Power appearances of anyone. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I played six Prague Powers. The NorthTale one that got canceled 2 years ago would
Yeah.
have been number seven, and Salador was the first one in 2007.
Wow. A Prague Power hero right here. Wow.
Pretty much, yeah.
So when you
Like
coming
that.
back?
That's the one place. Well, I'll be back this year headlining with Doro. Um,
Awesome.
Prague Power is the one place that I walk around feeling like a rock star. I really do, because everybody knows who I am there. Everybody wants to
It's like
talk.
this
Everybody wants a
guy
picture.
is Prague
Yeah,
Power right here. This
I
is
re-
real
I heard
Hudson, man.
nobody's been there more times than me, and 7 will be this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man. So cool. So, are there any plans for another NorthTale album in the works? Maybe.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to think about releasing a couple of singles before. That way people don't have to wait so much.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
but we are definitely working on new music. I have 6 ideas that are not ready yet.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to explore the Brazilian thing a little bit more. I want to get a little bit heavier too, like
Okay.
some heavier stuff, some more orchestral stuff.
Ooh.
Um, we will definitely have a new album by next year.
Sweet.
But I don't, yeah, yeah, for sure. But I don't know any dates yet because we haven't even done
Yeah.
any plans. I'm
Maybe a
kind of
single
behind on
this
that.
year.
For sure, yes.
For sure, a single this year.
Yeah, yes,
Oh, you've heard it here
yes,
first, folks.
yes.
A new NorthTale single this year.
Yes, there will be at least one.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
man.
you play so much. Is there a certain style or genre that you prefer to play, or do you just like to play?
Well, I just like to play, yeah. Like at the end of the day, if I just have the opportunity to be on stage and perform and play guitar, that's my preference.
Mm,
But hey, man, if I could choose, it would be all power metal.
all
You
power
know,
metal.
NorthTale just did our first European tour, and at the end of it, I remember being like, man, I just want like for every tour to be this. Because I'm very busy. Like I'm basically booked to the end of the year,
Jeez.
and I'm like, but none of it is NorthTale, or very little is. We're
Yeah.
going to Japan, and we have one festival in the Czech Republic. So I'm like, man, I just wish that NorthTale was doing all this stuff. That I was actually performing that music,
Just
because that is
NorthTale going everywhere.
yeah, because that is what I enjoy playing the most. It takes me back to being a kid.
Yeah.
It's almost like childlike. It's
Oh,
very
yeah.
cool.
That's the cool thing about music, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's pop or punk or power metal or new metal. The stuff that we listen to as children, or we have memories, during our formative years. Music just takes you back. It reminds you of times long past, right?
I read on a book called "This Is Your Brain on Music" that the music you listen to, specifically at age 14, is what stays
Okay.
with you forever. And
Really?
I'll tell you, man, Northdale sounds like my 14th birthday. It seriously does.
That's
Like,
awesome.
because dude, on that birthday when I turned 13, like I know that I got on CD from my friends. I got Stradivarius Twilight Time because I already had episode. So I got Twilight Time. I got both the Keeper of the Seven Keys. I got I might have gotten like Freedom Call, which was the
Oh,
single that came after Holy Land, not the
yeah.
band Freedom Call, the
Yeah,
Anger
oh, I love
single.
Freedom Call, yeah.
And yeah, so that again, so if my 14th birthday was in 1997, there was no MP3s, there was no,
Yeah,
the only way was to listen to CDs. So all the CDs that I got as gifts were the soundtrack of the day, you
yeah.
know. And Northdale basically sounds like that. It's very dead on. Like if you think about the music you listen to at 14, I bet it's still your favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually got into power metal late in life. So when I was
That's because you're
14,
American.
it is so American. I'm definitely, but
Yeah.
I was still listening when I was 14. I'll tell you this. This is you've heard it first here, folks. Power Metal Ranger first, but I was still listening to the Beach Boys on cassette. when I
Holy
was
shit.
14.
That's, do you listen to them still?
I don't listen to them regularly, but I still like the Beach Boys. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly, because you're 14, man. That's an important age.
Yeah, Beach Boys. I was listening to Tom Petty,
That's
Duran
cool.
Duran, you know, that stuff. Like,
That's cool.
and so when I hear when I'm in the supermarket and it comes on the radio or on the speaker, and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm a kid again. But that's what I grew up on. So
That's
I
cool.
can't even imagine growing up on Angra and Blind Guardian and Stradivarius. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely my formative years. And but my parents didn't my parents didn't like the music. It was just me, in my room. And I didn't have a lot of yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends either. The friends they did listen to this music too,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a lot of us. And it's funny too, specifically talking about, man, when I was 14, that's 1997. That's the year Hammerfall came out with their first album. That's the year Rhapsody came out with their first album.
Jeez.
That's the year Stradivarius Visions came out. So it's like it was a great year for power metal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
14, that would have been 2001. I
That
would have
was
just
still a
started
great year
high
for power
school.
metal.
It was, but I still wasn't into power metal. And during high school,
Yeah.
I was listening to like Blink 182, Green Day, Yellow Card, pop punk. You know, that was like the early 2000s. So
Which
America.
at one point in time I got into that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I did around that time too, to early 2000s. But more because I wanted to be American. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wanted because yeah, man. I mean, that was always a clash in my head. I wanted to play power metal,
But you want to
but
fit in with what's going on.
yes, I wanted to feel American. And these bands, Blink 182, dude, that was a good one. Simple Plan, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, it's good
Yeah, there
stuff.
was a lot
I'm
of
not bashing it.
yeah,
No, I still
yeah,
like that
yeah,
stuff to this day. I don't listen to it regularly, but when I hear it,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's good stuff. So on the
It's
new
pretty.
NorthTale album, is there going to be like a pop punk influenced power metal song?
Dude, I've been trying to do that for years.
Really?
Well, because there are so many similarities, really. If you think of, like, if you take any pop punk song from like the early 2000s,
Yeah, some 41. Yeah,
that had the beat, the punk beat,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
it's always very power metal, but with the vocal melodies being different. It's
right.
the same with Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh yeah,
Man, Avenged Sevenfold has a song called "Carry On."
yeah, oh
Ironically,
yeah.
that's an yeah, dude. It sounds like Halloween Save Us.
Yeah, you're not
It-
wrong. I never really thought of that before, but there's a lot of Avenged Sevenfold that is really kind of on the board. It's like if they took that next step, it almost could
but
be power metal.
and the next step is normally the vocal melody. You know, the power metal vocal melodies have certain ways that they develop, that they form, and
Yeah,
it's based on the other ones. Like there's a lot of da 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 da. That's
yeah,
power metal, right?
yeah,
So, but that's not pop punk. Like it's not Avenged Sevenfold. So they have like guitar wise drums. If you take out the vocals in Avenged Sevenfold, that's Halloween. That's Halloween. That's Angra.
wow.
But yeah, man, it's so I've wanted to cross genres like that before. I've never been able to, but it's been a thought. Who knows? On the next
Maybe it'll
album,
happen.
that will be more Brazilian stuff for sure.
Have you
That would
heard?
be.
There's this Sum 41 song. I really wish I could remember the name of it. I think it was a bonus song on one of their albums, but they dabbled with it. Was kind of like in a Judas Priest kind of power metal style. It was like two
Oh
and
no
a half
shit!
minutes long, and they actually had the drummer, I believe, do the vocals instead of the main
Wow,
vocalist. And it's kind of power metal-y.
that's cool.
And it's wild. I'll have
That's
to send you the link. Maybe I'll
That's
include it in
cool.
the description down below because it was kind of cool. Some 41s dabble like with old school 90s kind of power metal style. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
That's cool,
man.
man.
So cool. So in your spare time, you play a lot of music, but in your spare time, I know you're a bit of a gym rat, right? You love going to the gym. That's a big part of your life.
Absolutely. Well, it's been in the past 10 years, yeah. So
Awesome.
but that started with quitting drinking, because I was a really bad alcoholic for 10 years, more about 12 years. And in 2012, I stopped drinking and started going to the gym on the same day,
It's wow.
and literally on the same day. And and I never stopped, being in shape and being committed to the gym has brought amazing things to my life.
Yeah.
And I couldn't live without it right now.
That's so cool. So, and one thing I want to ask you, the main reason I brought that up is because I think there's a very heavy association with metal and drinking,
No,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
Have you encountered any difficulties with that? Being a non-drinker, but like heavily in the metal arena?
No, I mean, I have the exact same lifestyle I did before. Maybe now I get annoyed at drunken people quickly, but I mean, I'll still go out to the bars. I'll still hang out the same way and I always did before.
Yeah,
Sometimes, once in a blue moon, some annoying dude will be like, "Come on, have a drink, just one." But it's not even that often.
pushy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but it's not even that often. So honestly, no. I mean, I just don't drink.
yeah,
I'll do everything else. I'll hang out. I just won't drink. I'll
yeah.
even make people drinks. Like I don't have any cravings or anything. I don't like alcohol anymore.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll make people caipirinhas and all that.
Really, you still remember how to make certain things, and you'll
Oh
make
yeah,
it.
everything. Everything is the same lifestyle. I just don't drink anymore. I smoke pot instead. It is another vice, but it's much
Yeah,
more manageable and controllable.
we all have our vices. Yeah.
Exactly.
So cool, man. So cool. So it's so exciting to hear there's new NorthTale material on the horizon.
Yeah,
I'm
for
so
sure,
glad to
man.
hear that you're touring the world. Is there anywhere yet that you haven't been in the world that you really want to see or visit?
Yes, and that's coming this year too.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna be. I can't tell you about it yet
yeah.
because it hasn't been announced. But because I play in so many bands, I guess I can talk about the place. Australia, I haven't been to yet. I'm gonna be going this year for the first time.
Where?
Australia.
Oh, you never been to Australia. Awesome.
No, yeah, and also well, like all the other Asian countries, like Thailand. I've been to Thailand on vacation
Yeah,
one time, but now we're gonna do some shows there. Thailand, I hear Indonesia, I hear countries like that. It's all places I haven't been to, so that
awesome.
I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, I've been all over Europe, all over the Americas. I've been to Japan. I've been to all of Russia. Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of the world already.
I bet. Have you become quite the foodie, after having so much food from so many different places? Is there somewhere that you like the food from the best?
There is, but here's the thing. It is the junk food. You know what I mean? Like,
You,
so I mean, I'm not. First of all, I don't like if someone offers me to take me to a very expensive steakhouse or to Chipotle, I will say Chipotle. Like yeah, that's just the way I am
you
with
need a
food, man. I
Chipotle
don't.
endorsement, man. You need
Yeah,
Chipotle to like give you a bunch
or
of
Taco
merchandise.
Bell.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really am not a fancy eater.
yeah,
So, when I go to certain countries, um, there's the junk food from there that I like.
Yeah.
And my favorite is the Netherlands because
Okay.
it has Netherlands has certain things. Well, also keep in mind, like the Netherlands, it borders with Germany. You can literally cross from Germany into the Netherlands in about 40 minutes, right?
Jeez.
Driving.
Wow.
But still, there's this bread that they make in the Netherlands. It's just called sugar bread. And that's literally what it is, a loaf of bread that's baked with clumps of sugar in it.
Oh my
But
God. That
it's
sounds
like,
so
dude,
good.
it's I get to the Netherlands, whatever I'm doing there, I will go to the first supermarket and buy a loaf of that and leave it eating, like biting it. Like people think
Yeah.
I'm a fucking psycho because like I don't slice it like a regular person. I just eat it like that, taking
Like you're a
bites of it.
Neanderthal, just eating
Yes,
this bread.
exactly.
Is
Dude,
that kind of
and
like
the
funnel cake, I
candy,
guess? Or
it's not, there's nothing in America that's similar. That's the
no?
thing.
Okay.
No,
Oh man.
if you wanna look it up on Google, you see it's called just sugar bread, Dutch
Sugar
sugar
bread.
bread. Yeah, and I mentioned Germany because you drive 20 minutes into Germany and people there don't know what it is. It's so crazy.
And it's so
Uh,
close.
yeah, and you know also like I love kebabs, which here in America you can eventually find it somewhere, a doner kebab,
Yeah.
but not like in Europe where every corner has a little stand, you know.
Wow.
So I like stuff like that. You know, I like European kebabs. I like the like I said, the sugar bread. It's
Yeah.
all junk food. My favorite shit is all junk food.
Yeah. That's always the best stuff is always the worst stuff for you. That's just the
Yeah,
way life works.
exactly.
But so do you miss that? Like living in the United States, do you miss that ability to just easily travel to different countries? Because in the US, you just travel to different states, but it's still kind of the same but different. But in Europe, it's
No,
like different countries.
it's more the other way around because in the past 7 or 8 years, holy shit, time is passing. Yeah, in the past seven or 8 years, I spent essentially 9 to 10 months out of the year on the road.
Wow.
So I miss America when I'm out. It's the other
Really?
way around, you know. Like for example, Europe is cool and all, but if you want to grab a sandwich at 11 p.m., you're gonna have a hard time finding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas in America, you can just go to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So I miss like the commodities of America. I
Gotcha.
miss how easy everything is. I miss being the worst at speaking English in any conversation, you know. Like, because after a while in Europe, having because first of all, people in Europe don't hear my accent, so they think I'm American, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm always having to like talk to people, like not all people, but a lot of people, like especially Europe, not so much, but South America, Jesus Christ, you know, you can't communicate in
Wow.
English. And
You're
then
like,
I
how
like
y'all doing?
yeah, I like being the person who speaks the least English in the conversation, you know. Like I like conversations like this. I can make a joke and you understand. You make a
Yeah.
joke to someone whose second language is English, they won't get it.
Yeah.
So so I miss that. I miss, you know, I miss burritos. I miss Chipotle. I miss Taco Bell. They have it in Europe, but it's not the same, you know.
Right.
So but dude, I was thinking about this the other day. Like my life is very, at this point, is very balanced because I never spend too much time at a place to get bored. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'll be 2 months here at home, and then when I'm starting to get sick of it, I'll go on tour. And then I'm starting to get sick. Man, I want to be home. Oh, I'm coming back home. This year is gonna turn out just like that.
Wow.
You know, so I'm very lucky, very fortunate in that aspect.
That's so cool, man.
I
You need to take me with you on tour. I'll be your hype man. I'll be like, and here comes Bill.
dude, yeah, with the way you open this conversation, you got that job.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. All right, folks. No more videos for the next year because I'm touring with Bill Hudson.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. Truly, I had an absolute blast. It was so cool hearing your story and all the projects you're involved in, and also to hear that NorthTale has some new material coming. Really, really exciting. So, just truly massive, massive thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I really, really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, for the space. If you don't know, if you're watching this and you don't know NorthTale, check us out, NorthTale Official. And that's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. Power metal needs more people like you in America, you know?
Thank you, man. Yes, and for
Oh,
all you
yeah.
folks watching this here, I'm going to put all of NorthTale's and Bill Hudson's social media, all that good stuff in the description down below. Also, Celador, right?
Yeah,
Yes, Bill
that's
Hudson.
an oldie, but you'll like that.
Yes, you're gonna send me the link. I'm gonna put that link in the description below, and
Yeah.
also I'm gonna react to a video that Bill sends me from the band. I'll do a reaction to that. Maybe the same day I release this video. We'll
Hell
see,
yeah.
but I'll do a reaction to that. But yeah, go explore NorthTale and Bill Hudson, all that stuff in the description. Go see what they're up to. Keep up with them,
Awesome.
things like that. And thank you all so much for tuning in. And thank you again to Sir Hudson for joining me. And I'll catch you all next time. Ranger
All right. Thank you so much, brother. Take care, man.
out.